Oh my god.
Working. You have light. You
okay, I should probably say something more intelligent than, oh my god!
No, because that's why it says third time's the charm.
Yes. Okay, I need something to put behind this so that it actually can see us. Magic cards for the win. Hi! So we've moved inside so that everything will stop buffering, which means we don't get to show you around the Chainmail Workshop. And honestly, we're already like an hour into this and 3 videos, so I'm hoping that it's slightly more entertaining than it's seeming to us. But yeah, let's see if that actually got through to Grace. Can I share this URL? Copy that. Hey, we have a Grace.
Awesome.
Yes. What you doing?
I'll send this to Chris.
Okay. We have some extremely cute boys that have just got chainmail supplies and have already sent me a photo today, or a video today, of them sitting there and making chainmail. So really looking forward to Ben and Asher actually tuning in and saying hi. It's why we tried to set it up so it would be good for kids, but unfortunately that means people can't talk. So be nice. If you're not nice, then we will have to change things so that kids can actually join in. Right, I can't remember what I was talking about when we were downstairs now because I got very distracted by all the chainmail stuff that suddenly went wrong. So I'm just going to start making the things. I want to set me up with a remote keyboard, so hopefully I will even be able to type without having to move too much. I may have to enter whenever I want to. Hi, works. Hi. Yay! Things are working. So yeah, I was talking about these. I got a whole bunch of these to make. I got a whole bunch of these to cut that Owen has coiled on our hand mandrel thing. Best behavior. Thanks, Grace. You generally are, though. You're pretty good at being on your best behavior. It's just going to be when people come in later on that aren't used to these being kid friendly. But Owen is still trying to get the link to Ben and Asher, so awesome. I'm hoping I'm going to get a photo from Chris at some point so I can share how ridiculously cute they were sitting there with their pliers and their rings making chainmail on either side of a little kids table with a big monitor in the background so they can watch the stream. Going to be very cute. Cool. Chris just WhatsApp me and he's looking for me. I'm going to stop being boring and looking at screens while I'm on screen because, yeah, that makes no freaking sense. So, hi. Hoping the lockdown is going pretty well for you. It's definitely different. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I was hoping that there would be, well, I think everyone was hoping that there would be a longer level 3 and 2 and 1 and no need for this at all. But I was sort of thinking that there would be a longer period of time where I'd still be able to send people supplies for chainmail to keep them occupied during the time when they can't leave their house. So yeah, I'll have a look at what we have available in the house that we could potentially make chainmail out of, and whether we can set you guys up with a DIY video on how to make chainmail from home, if you feel like it. No obligation to actually do it. It might just be fun watching us be idiots. But this is basically how we make the chainmails. This is what's known as a mandrel. It's got a little slot in the end. I don't know if you can see that. You can see it now. That you thread the wire in, and then you basically coil the wire around the mandrel, whatever size wire you have, and you end up with that. This is some of the aluminium stuff that I make, and we just got a whole bunch more supplies of wire right before lockdown. So our ring cutter allowing, we should be able to make a whole bunch of stuff while we're locked down and be well stocked up when we're not locked down anymore, which will hopefully be sooner rather than later. But yeah, got at least a month of lockdown now, so I will be try and be entertaining for that time. Entertaining, incoherent, potato. So what are you guys making? Are you making anything while you're watching, or are you just kind of watching and seeing what happens? Listening to the rambling? Owen, we just got a message back about the medical shields. I got sent a link yesterday. Ooh, caution-colored dragon. Please put photos. I don't know if you can post photos in the comments here, but I want to see. Grace is doing a caution thing, colored dragon. So she's going to have an army of like 4 or 5 of the bloody things. So, can we totally do a photo shoot of you with like your dragon army, and get someone who can actually Photoshop to like Photoshop you with a whole bunch of dragons flying around you? Because I think that would be awesome. Because we don't have enough stuff to do already. It's good to have you watching, Shauna. Sorry we couldn't tune into the chats the other day. Yes, Grace. Oh, but what should you wear? That is the question. I don't know if you need the chainmail hair or... We will have to plot. This could be quite a fun photo shoot. Grace has got all sorts of gorgeous bits of chainmail that she could be wearing in being the dragon queen lady. Yeah, I think we need to make this happen somehow. It will be super fun. I'm sorry about my voice, by the way. I'm coming down with something. Relatively sure that it's not coronavirus because the symptoms are completely wrong. But my health is kind of obnoxious anyway. And yeah, I'm a little bit run down. So I'm not actually sure whether it's a cold or whether it's just the fact that my diaphragm's not responding, and so I can't actually engage muscles to talk. Ooh, awesome steampunk leather belt wraps. Yes! Yes! Oh my god, yes. That would be awesome. I was kind of imagining the sleeve that you did for your Bucky cosplay. Something like that, combined with the steampunk wraps. Can you shut me my jersey back?
Yeah. Turn the fan off if you want.
It's okay. Leave it on. You need it.
Yeah, you've got me into the fan.
Oh, and it's my mobile heater.
No, I'm your fan. Number 1 fan.
Yes. All of the vomitous type noises. I don't know if you guys have been following the progress of this on Instagram, but this is the latest iteration of the lampshade. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can't see the
But let you
screen.
have a look.
Can't see the screen. No, I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't read.
So me turning it is not going to help you actually put your glasses on.
No, not really.
But why? That makes no sense.
Sorry, who we've got in?
We have a Grace and we have Shauna, and we have that many. Apparently we have 3 people watching, so we may have a Chris as well, but I don't know if he's going to comment. I'm trying to think of what other tutorials I can do, and
Have you
stuff
told
that we
them
can
about
get.
the starting kit we're looking at doing?
No, not yet. Owen came up with the idea for like a gift pack for chainmail. So it was a mailer starting kit with 2 pliers and a whole bunch of different ring sizes in it. Did you suggest the tutorials as well or no?
Yeah, tutorials
Yeah.
in there, or you suggested the idea of maybe giving them tutorials that they can find elsewhere.
I was thinking of doing it so that there was a range of ring sizes in there. So like a good range of 18 gauge, 16 gauge, basic ring sizes that would work for the larger kind of clothing pieces and the jewelry pieces. And then instructions on which weaves you could make with the rings that you've got. Something that I've kind of run into a few times because I don't really like the idea of giving people ring sizes because aspect ratios for most weaves I've seen are available. And you can figure out ring size from aspect ratio without too much trouble. So I tend to prefer helping people figure out aspect ratios to just giving them a ring size. If you want a ring size or you don't want to have to do the work, then get a kit or get a tutorial that tells you the ring sizes that you need. But I'm trying to figure out a way of giving people a bunch of ring sizes, giving them the aspect ratios of weaves, and then having a little box with enough stuff to start off with that you can try a bunch of different things, that you can go in whichever direction you want to go in.
Kind of building on the idea that Chainmail Joe's been doing.
Yeah, there's a few places online that do them already, but none of them are local. I've also been in conversation with Michael, the lovely Michael that does the Zilly kits that we use for the spheres, and he is in the middle of an insanely big order at the moment. I think he turned 100 coils on the day that I talked to him, but he's going to be we're setting up an order. He's going to start churning through it, and then as soon as we drop back down and we can actually post stuff again, he's going to send it out. Those of you that don't know, you're not supposed to post non-essential items at the moment through courier or through anything else. So we've been asked to keep those channels free for the people that actually need them, which is completely reasonable. So we're not going to be able to do any deliveries until after we drop back down to level 3. But we will try and make sure that we have enough stock by then that you won't have to wait too long if you're in the middle of something and you run out of rings. I wonder if Chris has found it yet.
I think it's run by Tips. Other thing.
Cool. This is a lot less fun than the last multi-space we had, when we had 5 different people trying on Mikhail's gloves and
But Shona's not here. She's only online. She's
I'm sorry.
Here in person.
It's just more fun if Shona's here in person. That's what it comes down to. So what are you making at the moment on?
Just a cuff.
That's the
Byzantine.
So we got some machine cut Byzantine that got made into something that we're now kind of repurposing for we got some machine cut titanium, sorry. Need to figure out a close-up bloody camera. This is Byzantine. It's titanium rings, but they're machine cut, so they're slightly the edges don't line up as well as the small cut ones do. So Owen is reweaving it into a weave that shows that less.
Suits the ring.
Yeah. The weave I was in before had kind of edges, and so every time you ended up with one of the machine cuts on the edge, it was really, really obvious. Whereas the Byzantine wraps into each other a little bit more. Ooh, titanium, yeah. Very much so. We had a lot of fun with the ring cutter the week before lockdown kicked in. We actually ended up picking up the repaired bit the day lockdown was announced.
Monday, the day lockdown.
Yeah. We were picking up the last...
The day we shifted to level 3.
The day we shifted to level 3, we were picking up the last minute materials to get cutting done. So I am more hopeful now that we will soon be able to cut, that we will be able to cut steel and titanium than I have been for the last 5 years or so, which is awesome. We got an engineer who had a look at the ring cutter we've got, because the holes on top that hold the plates in place that steady the coil when it feeds through, the threads had threaded because the base plate was not thick enough to actually hold the thread. So he's added extra threading to it, and yeah, with some of the stuff he was suggesting, it seems like he's going to be able to help us troubleshoot actually cutting steel and titanium now that I know what I need to be able to do that. Shona. Oh. Grace, can you see us as well as hear us? Because it looks to me like, from this side, it looks like the live feed is working. We can see video and we can hear things.
Well, people who are here who can see us, who can hear us.
And who can't do either?
If we can't do either, they can't answer.
Magic.
I just noticed we've got an extra person, so
Hello, extra person.
where's the keyboard?
Down here.
Because I will type that up so the people who can't hear us can still.
Ooh, hey, we have a hubby. That's who the extra person is. Hey, sweetheart, how's your shoot going? Happy can see us and hear us. Grace can see us and hear us. Sorry, Shona, I think it might be your internet. There's a chance that once the live stream is over, you'll be able to download it, and then you'll be able to watch the bits that you missed. Trust me, you're not missing that much. Hi, Happy.
Ooh, we've got an extra person. Make sure to say hello. Let's just keep it down, please.
Sorry, that's right. There we go. Just adding the mic. Nice. But you still got a fair amount to go before you're long enough. If you guys want to post photos of the stuff that you're making, I don't know if you can do it on the actual YouTube channel, but if you go to the Facebook page and check it on the event so that everyone else can see what you're making as well. I want to see the Caution Dragon, Grace. Chainmail goals during lockdown.
Everything.
So, non-specific enough that we don't actually have to do any of them. I'm kind of wanting to finish the lampshade, to be honest. I've got... Sorry, just digging through my tray.
The Home Garden show's ended, so been cancelled. So
Yeah, all markets are cancelled for the foreseeable future. So I started doing these lampshades for the Home and Garden show. I've got this one going at the moment, and I'm planning on using that, which is Borealis weave, in aluminium and in bright aluminium and seafoam green. I do not know how to get that to actually focus. Sorry, I will find a way to get a close-up camera so I can actually show you weaves before the next time we do this, or at least have a solution in mind whether I can get the materials or not. So I wanted to finish.
No,
What?
No, it's fine.
Huh.
Can you skip on the?
Sorry, that would have been me. But yeah, I want to finish the lampshade. I've got a neoprene Japanese 12-2 cuff that I'm not actually sure where it is. It may have ended up staying downstairs when we had to bring the computer upstairs. So I've got that one that's been ordered by someone that I'm pretty sure will still want it at some point. And it's kind of cool anyway, so I want to finish it. So I'm trying to work on that. Grace's comment is, many projects will get started, how many will get finished? That's a bloody good point. I'm trying to use this time to finish the projects that I've started but I haven't finished. Like there's a belt that I tried to finish for Splore that I'm still trying to figure out how to attach to the buckle, and I want to get onto that. At this point, I'm trying to get through the lampshade mostly because a lot of it is just closing rings. And so while I'm sitting there and watching Doctor Who, I can just sit, close rings, file them, close them, file them, close them, file them, and then kind of add a whole bunch at once. Whereas a lot of the projects, they're still in planning stages. So I have to figure out my way around things before I've actually finished. What was that? That sentence went sideways on me.
Don't know. You kind of lost grip. Tongue waving, wibbly wobbly.
Yeah, pretty much. I need to figure out what I'm doing for a lot of the projects before I can actually finish them. So, yeah, just closing rings is good for me at the moment. I'm trying to actually use the time to take a break because we've been pretty full on the last couple of months. We haven't had much time at home, but we're actually I'm making non-chainmail related goals now as well. Owen's been making pesto. We also have a whole bunch of lasagna in the freezer. And we're going to get on top of... did you know the plum tree had fallen down, Grace? Had it fallen down when she came through?
Yeah, I put in February.
Yeah, we moved into this house in December, and we have like an 11-meter tall plum tree in the back garden that was extremely old, managed to fall down in a way that it didn't hit anything else at all. That Owen has been parting up and bringing upstairs and shifting some to firewood and some to tuning wood and some to, what are you going to use the chips for?
Smoking.
Yeah.
Food smoking.
But yeah, it's 11 meters tall, so it's taking us a while. So we're trying to get on top of the gardens and stuff as well. It's kind of nice to have some time at home. And a lot of the time we've had up to this point this year has been running around doing markets and stuff.
Also making chocolate brownie, chocolate self-saucing puddings, roti.
Try not to make people in lockdown elsewhere too jealous.
Why?
Because it's mean and nasty, and people are used to getting brownies during these things and they're going to complain. If we start eating cookies and they can't eat cookies, it's going to be a problem.
Then they need to just go to the website and find a mixer.
Yeah, being in lockdown with this man is just, it's terrible. He doesn't make tasty food at all.
Happy's really jealous.
Sorry, Happy. I told you you're mean.
I know.
It's just rude.
Yes.
Kind of love how smug he is right now.
It gives me a sense of
I'm
purpose.
going to sit here and be like, look, I made all this stuff and I can eat it and you can't. And I'm so awesome because you can't eat my tasty food.
If you can just make it yourself.
Hi, Shona! Shona can see us. Say
Hey,
hi to
Shona!
Thank you, Shona.
Did you try refreshing?
Grace says chocolate. Did you try refreshing Shona? Wait, there's chocolate? There is not chocolate. I'm sorry.
There is, but it's here.
Well, there is, but it's not chocolate we can send you because reasons and stuff. Basically, Owen's been going through all of the things that he's been making for us to eat since the lockdown has started, and I'm telling him off because he's going to make people feel bad because they can't come here and have some.
No, but I can share the recipe so you can make your own. They're really, really, really simple.
That's true.
And actually, you've got plans to do that through the food channels.
Mm. He's been making basil pesto, which is just amazing. And the roti is quite tasty as well.
The roti's really easy.
Yeah.
Flour, water, oil. Salt.
It's the specific flour that you got, isn't it?
Yeah, you can use bacon, you can just use plain flour. But I'm using an Indian flour.
You got an entire sack of it a couple of weeks back. And we've been yumming it up ever since. But we got the basil from our friend Chris's garden, the space that we generally use for Monkey Space and Tauranga, the one out in Ohaiti. They have a massive garden. And Chris gave Owen a whole bunch of basil the last time we went through, so he's turned a whole bunch of that into pesto, which is amazing. Yes, please, Owen, share your food secrets.
I have no secrets. They're all very open.
He has no secrets, he just hasn't written any of them down anywhere, so you have to tie them down and get them out of him yourself.
I'll tell you where I got them from.
There's a recipe for the cookies that we usually bring to Monkey Space on the Guy Spices website.
The chocolate brownies on the Chelsea website. The
Yeah.
self-saucing chocolate puddings on the Chelsea website.
Yeah, he does self-saucing chocolate puddings now as well. He just started doing them out of the food trailer right before lockdown hit. So I had to do a whole bunch of testing. It was horrible. But it's literally just you put the stuff together, you chuck it in the oven, and it turns into a self-saucing pudding. So it's like the ones, I've seen a recipe for them online where you just make one up in a mug and you chuck it in the microwave. It's kind of like that. You just need a container. And they're really, really good. Oh, we have another comment. Oh, yay, food. I'm in the process of doing the sourdough starter. Oh, my God. Jess is making sourdough.
Mm-hmm.
Nom, nom,
Nice.
nom. Owen's making roti, Jess. Roti and cookies and self-saucing puddings and
Pesto,
basil pesto.
brownie. What else I got to make? Something else I got to make. I've got plans to make as well.
I think we have plans to make pretty much everything. We have nothing but time to make all the things you've been wanting to make.
Yeah.
Hey, Jess, how are your cosplays going? I've been following the photos of your gorgeous the giant black dress. I can't remember the character. Jess's diabetic ass. What's your language, sweetie? There's children on this We have taken the kid-friendly thing off of it because it stops you from being able to make comments. But there are two extremely cute boys, Ben and Asher, who we met because they used to come and steal our cookie samples at the markets, who have started doing chainmail. And they're going to be tuning in at some point as well. Ooh. How... I kind of want photos of your exploding sourdough now. I don't know how much of a mess I should be imagining. I'm probably imagining more of a mess than it actually created. Thank you, Jess.
Also, Jess, when the lockdown's over, do you want to come down and do some real sword fighting with some of the guys down here?
Is that the right Jess, or is it the
Pretty sure it is.
other Jess?
I don't know.
I may have been thinking of the wrong Jess.
Which
Sorry.
Jess are we talking to?
Are we talking Auckland Jess or Tauranga Jess? Unfortunately, both of the Jesses we know also have done longsword.
That's true.
Either do or have done longsword, so that's not really going to help. Shona is asking how the sourdough
Reason why I
exactly
thought that
exploded.
one.
Yes.
So I don't know what the name is. I can't read the name that's on there.
It's Vinrotech. Yes, and yes, correct, Jess, Auckland Jess.
Cool.
Yes, come play with swords.
Yeah.
Harpy, who is on the stream, has been coming to our longsword group for
Year and a half, yeah. A year.
long enough.
Yeah.
Long enough that she is actually, I think she would quite enjoy fighting you now and it wouldn't be too terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've come a long way.
Mm. The last couple of trainings that we did, or that I remember Owen coming back from, he was seriously excited because we've been talking about winding and we've been going over a lot of theory. And the last two times that he came back, he was just like, they're picking it up and they're putting it together and they're really, really good and they're kicking my ass and I'm really having to struggle now to actually keep up with them. And it's really fantastic to see that level of enthusiasm because a lot of it has been Owen going, I know how to fight with swords and nobody else does, and I will try and teach them. Ooh,
Right, yeah.
rolled over here. I hope it didn't make too much of a mess. And I hope it tastes good. Is it still edible if it explodes?
Yeah, it should be. Everything's edible.
I think that might be the correct from this one.
Instead of
Last time it
exploding.
was the Canon battle chickens, but the whole "is it still edible if it explodes" is going to be the tagline for this video. If anyone is confused by the chainmail battle chickens, one of the previous streams we did of a virtual monkey space, we ended up getting in a conversation with people about putting chickens in chainmail shirts and then firing them through cannons. Ooh, that's impressive.
That is very impressive.
Nicely explosive. I hope it does the same thing to your taste buds. Yeah, very concrete. Sorry, we just got sent a photo of punk rock Asher. He's rocking a very stylish hairstyle. Can you see if he can
Billy
send
Idol.
me? Ooh, it is a bit. It just needs the eyeliner.
Mm.
Humax says hello. We have another one.
Sumac is.
And
I
Shona
believe-
says, sorry?
That's either Asher and Chris, I think it is.
Hello. And Shona said, did the chicken agree?
Well, it left its body to delicatessen.
Yeah, my brain was going to go, maybe it was a punk rock chicken.
It left its body to delicatessen.
There are humans that fire themselves through cannons.
There is.
Yeah. We just had lots of safety nets in place, Shona. I made sourdough pancake because it's not ready for bread yet. How long does it take before it's ready for bread? Does it just need to sit longer? And how good was the pancake? Is there going to be enough ready for bread by the time it's ready to be bread?
A week of feeding.
We could ooh. So you have to keep re-yeasting it. Oh no. This is making me hungry.
So we need to go get chocolate brownie so we can sit there and eat it in front of people.
I don't know how much abuse we would get if we sat here and started eating chocolate brownie and cookies and all the things that we usually have at Monkey Space in front of people in a way that they could not eat it. I think if we do that, you should definitely post up the recipe for it, so the next time we do this, they can make their own.
Yes, but we have 3 more weeks at least of lockdown, so they can't get to us before then.
No, but they can get like supermarket supplies and make their own. This
I
is
know,
the point
but
I'm
they
trying
can't
to make.
attack us for it.
Flour and water. And pancake was yummy but very filling. That's probably a good thing.
And Shona will get the Tim Tam. See?
Ooh, yum. Tangerines.
So Humanix, is it?
Humex.
Humax.
Hello, Humex. Thanks for tuning in.
How you guys doing?
Oh, here's another piece. Grace is going to eat banana cake and drink hot chocolate. Awesome. As long as everyone has something tasty to eat and or drink. Chris, if you've tuned in, can you please send me a screenshot of the ridiculously cute video you sent of Ben and Asher before when they were sitting down and doing chainmail? Someone is logged in as me.
Chris.
Hi, me.
Because we were logged into their laptop, weren't we?
I'm magic. I can be in multiple places at once.
Hello! Ah.
Hi, Tyrone. We have a Tyrone.
Woo!
Jess, if you end up coming through and playing longsword with us, that's not the right phrase, but I can't think of the right one. Tyrone will be in with it as well. Sorry.
So Tyrone,
Ooh, fancy sandwich. Fancy homemade sandwich, even. Good. As long as everyone has tasty things. What were you going to ask, Tyrone?
no, I was going to say we met Jess up in Auckland.
Yes, Tyrone, you met Jess up in Auckland at the longsword, the Auckland Sword and Shield tournament.
Mm-hmm.
He was competing. We're trying to talk him into coming down and fighting with us in a nice and friendly fashion. We tried to make sure everyone in our group actually had something to practice with before lockdown hit. And then we got pretty much everyone.
Peter was the only one who didn't. He was going to come by on the Wednesday, but he would have been already out at his house by that point.
Yeah. We need to figure out some easy listening music we actually have the rights to. So it's not a matter of complete silence or us.
Work music. Public domain music.
Mm.
In a second, I'll download something out. I know we can have epic and dramatic music that was used in that by that FIFA
Oh, the
person. FIFA executive.
The John Oliver?
For John Oliver.
yes. Should we set up a Zoom to YouTube stream? Yes, if you can do that, please do. Chris is slightly better with the whole computers
So we
thing
have
than we are.
I think it's so we can have multiple videos.
Yeah.
So it's not
Does
just
anyone else feel like actually being on camera right now, or are they happy to tune in? Because if you want to set up a camera so we can Zoom
good.
you guys doing it, Chris, that'd be awesome.
So Jess set that up, and we'll
Chris.
No. Jess wants to set up an old punching bag and have it repeating with the sword that they broke.
Ooh, good idea.
So I'm quite keen for that. We were looking at going to have a tourney in March, just a small one with people I invited. because a lot of these guys, a lot of the clubs are still relatively new to sword fighting, so I wanted to have it a bit more
We want to make it fun.
easy and fun.
Yep.
Rather than competitive. But basically, I'm interested in getting other people fighting so they don't just fight me when they fight new people.
Sorry, I just had the mental image of Jess in the hall holding off everyone else in the longsword group. One-handed, because, at this point he probably could. Apart from you, he's had slightly more experience than you have.
Yes.
And it would be fun. Show this comment. Snap that punching bag. Damn right. Cool, Chris, we've got a volunteer for streaming video. If you want one, Grace is keen to stream. Let me know how I can put you in touch with her.
But I'll probably post it on here.
Have you seen his response?
Is that a challenge?
Is that a challenge? Of course it's a challenge. As long as it's a challenge for everyone and everyone gets to have cookies afterwards, then yeah. Challenges are good.
Sorry, I didn't think about how that anagram reads. Whoops.
I did wonder.
What is ASS? Auckland Sword and Shield.
Maybe just, I don't know if capitalizing will be better or not.
Well, ASAS. Assas.
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 Shout us for the cookies. Good to know. It does tend to be, there are a lot of people that are competitive when they do longsword, and certain levels of competitiveness are good, but speaking as a beginner, it can be terrifying, especially if someone has a sword in their hands. Assas does work better, Jesse.
Yeah. That's right. They used to be comatosis.
What?
Comatosis. That's what we nicknamed them.
Right. I was trying to figure out what would be an anagram for.
So there was COD, Company of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Comatosis was the Ordo Malus Comitatus, but no one could ever bother mentioning that, and they were arrogant little shits anyway, so we just called them Comatosis.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I do apologize.
That's okay. This is a problem that I envisioned when I tried to set up a kid-friendly stream kiss. Chris. My brain and my mouth do not communicate, and swearing bad. I can imagine starting with them would have been quite intense as a beginner. I do have a lot of fun though. I want to try and get the guys from the group down here. I want to do a road trip up at some point and actually get them and show them the level of people or the level of training that is possible. Don't worry so much about music cards, it's going to probably live in me.
Okay.
So, music channel. Hey Chris, if you're looking at things we can potentially, or things to potentially troubleshoot, Owen and I are both short-sighted, and having us lean in every 5 seconds and peer at the screen so we can tell what people are actually saying probably doesn't look that great.
We don't even have an HDMI port here, do we?
No, it's basically a tablet. So I've got one USB port and the charge cable, and that's it.
Because if we could run on that.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if we can cast it up there. Probably can't.
Something to look at for next time. Most of the guys in our group down here are only experienced with actual sword players through the group down here. And we tend to prioritize fun pretty highly.
Let's face it, we do this for enjoyment. Very few people are going to sit there and just do it purely for discipline.
Yeah. But one of the things that I was thinking about doing after coming up and seeing the Sword and Shield practice was I took a bunch of photos of the warm-up you guys did, and I was going to get myself to the point where I could do the warm-up and then spring it on the club and be like, if you want to go out and train with Auckland Sword Shield, this is the first stage of the training. This is the benchmark we need to get up to before we can start training. I trained with Hayden Parks for like 2 years before switching to SAS due to location reasons. Who's Hayden? Is he Auckland as well, or is he?
No.
A lot of the people that Owen knows.
Auckland and the rest of the country didn't mingle much when I was in reenactment.
So we know, is it Nick down in
Nick Harrison?
Nick Harrison. The first year that I met Owen, he was looking at going over and doing a longsword workshop
Seminar
over there
workshop.
with someone that they had coming over. But they're the only ones I've got any actual experience with training.
Yeah, I enjoy the studying and the training of it, but it doesn't have to be.
It can be fun.
It can be
intense,
fun at the same time.
as opposed to intense, unpleasantly intense. And we have people within the group that take it more seriously or less seriously.
And what you do outside of the club is entirely up to you. If you want to take it more seriously and train, awesome. But I have to, as a trainer, you have to think about all sorts.
All different levels. So we generally just set it up so it's one of the conversations that we had with Auckland Sword and Shield that they couldn't really get their head around.
Well, Graham anyway.
Owen's mentality is that his base level is you're safe. As long as you're safe with the sword, you're not going to do something stupid with it and potentially damage someone else.
If you can't hit the side of a barn, I don't care, as long as you don't hurt someone while doing it.
You can't hit the side of a barn, but you're enjoying yourself while you're doing it, then it doesn't matter that much. I want it kind of intense. Keeping chill with those newbies. I can understand why. I was quite impressed by the level of warm-up. I want to get myself to the point where I can do that much warm-up. I haven't actually been able to train longsword at all for 6 months, more. It's
Coming
been
up
a
to
while.
a year.
I bloody miss it.
Coming up to a year.
But it's been really, really fun seeing the amount that other people have progressed in that time and how much more comfortable with the sword they're getting. It's quite fun. Bloody burpees. Some of the warm-ups end up involving burpees.
Yeah, screw that.
On. Very
Okay, sorry, is that too much?
probably.
Oh.
I don't know. I haven't done kid-friendly videos before.
Yeah. Stuff that.
So,
The Hades
I don't know if sod that would work.
in the middle of running in
Depends on
circles.
in which year.
So, Shona, burpees. You jump in the air, you drop down to do a push-up, you do the push-up, you jump back up in the air.
Yes.
Repeat. Ad infinitum.
Yes. His response was, "Oh, that is the appropriate response." This is
Yeah,
why we haven't-
you need to add a bit more of a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I think, oh, hell no.
Okay, sorry. Shona's response was like ripping on each other, and then after your explanation. Sorry, I missed the joke though. Yeah, one of the things that they would do as part of the warm up was basically plank to side plank to central plank again to side plank. Like their warm ups are acrobatic and
Who's this?
sorry,
Who's this?
Auckland Sword and Shield warm ups. Their warm ups are really intensive and really good. But yeah. We're not quite at that level yet.
Sorry.
Who's that?
Someone asking about spices.
Okay. I mentioned this before we had so many people, but I'm going to ask again and see if anyone's actually going to be interested in it. We're looking at potentially setting it up. One of the things I wanted to try and do before the lockdown was make sure that people who wanted them had chainmail supplies so they had something to do. But we can't post anything out until after we're back down to level 3. Grace says it sounds fun. Of course, Grace thinks it sounds fun.
Of course she does.
Grace is a Zumba instructor. She started doing chainmail so she had something to do that did not involve moving constantly for every other second of the day. So yeah, of course it sounds fun to you, Grace. You can actually do it. I'm thinking of actually doing a series of videos on how to make rings at home. We're going to have a look in the supermarkets and see if they actually have gardening wire or any kind of wire that we could potentially give people instructions on how to make chainmail from. It's a lot of fun if you can do it. It does, but that level of warm up makes a lot of sense. It's just a level of fitness that we're kind of not at yet, and we want to get up to, but we also don't want to scare people off trying to get up to it, because both you and Grace are a hell of a lot more fit than I am right now. If I tried to do your guys' workout, I would die. So I need to find an interim workout that I can do before I get to the point where I can do your workout. It's a live stream, it is. Not really joking.
Sorry, I do apologize.
It's not your fault. I'm not.
What's Tyrone saying?
What is Tyrone saying? Would fence wire work for chain link? Yeah, it does. There's people I know in reenactment circles that have made themselves entire shirts out of fencing wire. So you could definitely do it out of fence wire. I will grab.
It's a very good starting medium. It's terrible on your hands. Hard.
It's terrible on your hands.
Looks
You're going to need
terrible,
wire
but-
cutters. It's not going to be wonderfully strong. It's going to have a lot of edges that will catch on things. So structurally, it's going to be structurally there are better ways of doing it. But in terms of what we can actually sort out now, this is how I cut my rings. I make and turn my rings. So that's got a split in it, in there. So you feed the wire through there, and then you turn the mandrel. So you can either hand turn them, or I turn mine with a drill. And you coil the wire along, getting as even a spacing as you possibly can. That one is one we've done quite recently, so it's really nicely close. These are ones that we did with our manual mandrel, which is the one we take to medieval events, and they're stainless steel wire. So the harder the wire is, the more likely you are to get some gaps in the coil that you're making. But if you just feed it slowly and line it up as close as you can to the wire that is already there, you should be able to get a pretty even coil. And I'm thinking of putting up a video on how to set things up for yourself. Try to find something that's already, I just went looking for my clippers and they're sitting right next to me. And then to cut them, these are extremely good wire cutters. You could use any of the ones that you have at home, but for warning, I exploded about 6 different sets of wire cutters when I first started trying to cut stainless steel wire before I found ones that were strong enough. Fencing wire is not as solid, so you might be able to get away with slightly better clippers, but you probably also will break quite a few of them. But that is a coil. You can see the edge there. So you line up the clippers to the edge of the wire as close as possible, and then you cut it.
Thanks, Chris. Let us know when you're all set up.
What's he doing?
I'm setting up a Pro Plus webinar account with Zoom.
Ooh, awesome. Thank you, Chris. Don't try and cut through more than one piece of wire at a turn. Otherwise, it won't go through and you will really hurt your hands. I tend to do these with my hand braced, my fist braced against my leg, just because if you try and do it like that, it's really going to mess your hands up. You're not necessarily going to be able to shut it. And if you're cutting fencing wire or steel, it's not going to go through like butter. You're going to need the force behind it. At one point when I was doing my first shirt, I ended up with a permanent bruise on my leg because of how long I spent trying to cut rings. I would not recommend it.
Ooh, we have another person.
Hello, extra people.
Hello, people.
Hello, people.
Say hi.
So that's literally what ring cutting is without the expensive equipment that I've spent the last 5 or so years getting. And you still get a pretty good closure. I might take a close-up of that and then post a photo up somewhere, because it's not as smooth as a saw cut ring. So there's more of a likelihood that something's going to hook on it and pull it, and your weave is going to be weaker because of that. But if it's steel that you're making it out of, it's not going to make that much difference, not as much as if it was aluminium. And you can still, people have shirts that are made with fencing wire. So Tyrone, if you're looking at potentially doing one with wire, yeah, I will Thank you for the motivation. I will now start having a think about what you might have that will be the right width to be the mandrel, and setting up instructions so that you can start cutting with fencing wire. Grace has just commented she started with fencing wire. I started with galvanized wire from the hardware store, which is probably much of a muchness. Definitely mind your fingers. I would suggest wearing gloves, to be honest. One of the first times I got Owen to help me coil, he ended up coiling the wire and the glove around the mandrel.
Missed my finger though.
Yeah, he doesn't like his hands very much, and has damaged them quite a few times. But that was
That was my right hand as well.
Yeah, that was one of my first encounters with Owen's hatred for his right hand, and desire and attempts to remove it from his body. But that one, he managed to wrap the mandrel, the wire, and the glove kind of all up in one go,
We had to
while
uncoil
not
it.
breaking his hand. We had to uncoil it to get the glove out. So
Shona's response, I think, was at the end of the video of burpees.
Jess just said, I should state now that I'm not doing manual labor. That's
I should
fine.
start now
You
that I'm
can-
not doing manual labor.
You can start or state whatever you like. You just need to watch us do the manual labor. It's more just getting the motivation so that I make the videos. There is no requirement on you at this point to do anything except watch and make fun of me. I hope that that's okay. I hope that that doesn't count as manual labor. Cool. That's good to know. I will start looking into what options there might be in New Zealand, because these we got from Stratford Engineering, didn't we?
They're all
These are
over the place.
Nipex pliers. They're actually made to cut piano wire, so they're really, really, really good.
They're
for
some of the
steel.
best that have lifetime stuff.
You don't do manual labor 40 hours a week.
Right, yes.
Okay. So
So-
you don't do manual labor, and you're not going to do manual labor.
But now can go back to fighting and can also pick up chainmail.
Awesome.
I'm thinking.
Totally.
that
Everyone
right,
can pick
Jess?
up chainmail. I don't know. I feel like I assume too much that people are going to pick chainmail, because why would you? Everything, as Grace has heard me say multiple times before, everything should be chainmail. Is there a burpee video? Did you send Shona one?
I did. Shona,
Where
I
did
just
you send it to?
on Facebook. Messenger.
Owen just sent you a video of what is involved in doing a burpee.
Chainmail or the
Chainmail or the things. Damn right. I'm trying to figure out whether hand cutting a whole bunch of these at home, and then having supplies ready to send out for the group project we were going to set up for the Auckland Monkey Space is going to be a good idea. Because stainless steel rings can be sterilized quite easily. So even if someone came down with something, then they could still be sterilized before they got put back in the main project. We're going to be doing it in European 4-in-1, so I can just set up instructions online and just send out the rings once they're made up. And then people will have something to do. I still want to use oh my god, you and those braces would be really cool.
Well,
We may have to add that
come
to the
down and
average.
train and we can size you up for one.
Yes, what he said. And we may have to add that into the photo shoot of Grace with her dragon army.
Yep.
Jess kicking someone's ass with a longsword in steel braces. I might actually have to start making some of those, making another one of those. Because have you seen it since we?
Donuts
Feed the
can be
snot out of it?
chainmailed, but they're not as tasty because it kind of mushes and dissolves.
Yeah, and they don't protect you against swords. Sorry.
No, you chainmail on the outside of a donut.
I'm just thinking donuts made into chainmail.
We could put donut dough inside a chainmail wrap and then bake the donut into the chainmail.
But then you wouldn't be able to eat the donut.
Even better, protect your donuts.
But no, the point of the donut is to eat the donut. I was thinking chainmail made out of donuts. Yeah,
That's
priorities.
fine.
That's
We've
okay.
actually found a good compromise within the club. We've got a bunch of synthetics, which I have. There's a couple of steels within the club that you can probably borrow, and also we're making wooden ones which bite and wind and bind similar to a steel, but they just don't have the flex, so you've got to be careful when you're thrusting.
Grace, I think we've been hanging out together for too long. That was exactly what I was thinking. So in the last little while that we've been talking and I've been cutting stuff, those are the rings I've cut. So it's time consuming, but that is something we all seem to have a lot of at the moment. Besides, Jess, you're having the time to save up for a new steel sword. Have you seen that weave? It's quite time consuming. I think we've got time. We actually we had a go at that weave at those particular braces with feather, a falchion, and a axe at one point, because I've been intrigued since I made it with how much force it would actually be able to absorb.
Falchion, bearded axe, and pick.
And pick in the end, yeah, because I made a piece, not that piece.
We did
The
take that
pick,
piece
no,
with
the
it.
pick the pick only ended up getting used on the spring steel
I thought you used it on that
because
as well.
Thomas got annoyed because it made his hands hurt.
Yes.
Yeah. We did a mini video, which I really need to go through and finish editing and then post. I keep getting asked about what people should make shirts out of, and it really depends on whether you're actually going to use them for practical purposes or not. So I did a square of aluminium, stainless steel, and spring steel, and then we hit them with weapons because we could. But we did the vambrace at the same time, and Owen and our friend Thomas had a fair good whack at it. They hit it pretty hard, and we lost one neoprene ring, so I'm quite impressed with how well it held up.
So you're able to work from home, are you, Jess? Must be.
It's got to be. Unless he's essential services.
That's
She's
true.
essential. Unless she's essential services. Spring steel, definitely, if you want to get hit with steel.
Or riveted steel.
It was quite impressive how much you can. It's one of the reasons I did the video, because some people don't seem to grasp how much spring steel still explodes when you hit it with weapons. I remember the first Harcourt Park that I actually encountered you. I knew someone that went down there that had finished making their Aventail in the car on the way down, and then I had to repair it every night because the fighting during the day would break it apart because it was not riveted, and they were doing full contact, and it would just explode. It's all a matter of force.
Yeah. Also, impact.
Yes, it's still working for me. She's still working for me.
You can still break bones through a chain now.
Yes.
We keep trying to tell people, and it's like, oh, this will stop it. It's like, yeah, no, you can still break a bone. Just cut through.
Okay, I might have to stop this relatively soon. No, I mean the feed.
Okay.
My brain is starting to go sideways and not communicate wonderfully
Pro
well.
account created.
Starting a Zoom meeting and figuring out how to stream to YouTube. Awesome, thank you, Chris. We may need to take a bit of a pause.
Oh, you had your meds for this afternoon.
Jess says, that's why I want chainmail on top of my Randerson. No, I haven't. Should I have to leave it too?
Yeah.
Be right back, guys.
Compression damage. Very little stops compression damage. What sort of games are you going to go for, Jess? Always curious because I've made 50 in my lifetime, I think. I think I worked it out. It's come close to 50. Yeah, I need to figure out how to test the ones I make. Right.
Okay. The stream was supposed to start at 1 o'clock, but we had some technical issues getting it set up. And despite the fact that there's not much going on outside of the house at the moment, I'm still not in a fantastic space. And I'm starting to overload. So what we might do is cut the stream short there today. I'm thinking of setting these up for every Sunday until the lockdown's finished. We can potentially do them more often if you'd like, if you're interested. I'm really keen on seeing what Chris can set up in terms of Zoom meetings, because my initial idea for these streams was actually so that people that weren't at the Monkey Space get-togethers that we had could tune in and look at the chainmail and interact if they wanted to, but not have to. But the pressure of having to be entertaining and make actual sense and use the words that I'm intending on using is a little bit much for my brain right now. But I can get Chris to have a look into setting that up and then post about it on the Facebook page if you guys are keen to kind of keep chatting and keep chainmailing together and keep talking. More than happy for you guys to do that. I would love to stay up and keep doing it with you, but I'm just not physically up to it at the moment. I've been pushing it a bit too hard for a bit too long, and I need to stop. But I'm really glad that we actually managed to get this going, and thank you for tuning in today. I'm happy to do more.
What we could potentially do is turn the YouTube ones into every Sunday.
Yeah.
But if we manage to get the Zoom meeting working, because I don't know if you can record and upload that one.
No, I don't know if you can record that.
Every
Yeah, I'm happy to do a get-together that's not necessarily like stored on film, because to be honest, none of the stuff that I talk about on these is particularly worth archiving. But it's more a matter of being able to get you guys distraction and
contact.
Yeah, human contact.
We've also talked with people, and seems to be quite a few people interested in doing it. Just remember, you can Skype or Zoom or whatever dinner meetings.
Yes, you can set up to have dinner with someone and just do it over Skype. There is a lot that's going on in the world at the moment, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff online about people who are extremely uncertain about what is going to happen next, and there are going to be a lot of the people who are not going to be making choices that are in society's best interests. There's going to be a fair amount of tension probably in your houses, because being stuck in house with a whole bunch of people that aren't used to being stuck together and don't have other choices and are hugely stressed is going to cause issues. There's no way that it's not. But I have in my life, for various reasons, been socially isolated quite a lot, and I also kind of never really know whether my body's still going to be functional in half an hour or so I'm slightly more used to the uncertainty side of things than most people going into this would be, because they haven't had practice. And chainmail has been one of the things that has helped me get through stuff like that. So if me talking about chainmail, or Owen's cooking, or making gambesons, because seriously, Jess, you should see some of the gambesons he's made. They're freaking amazing. One of the first times I went over to his house, he moved a pile of clothes on the couch and then talked me through how he'd handmade all of them. And they're all gorgeous. So, yeah, if you want to Zoom chat and we'll talk about that. I'm happy to prattle as much as I physically can. Unfortunately, the levels that I physically can are not particularly high at the moment. But, yeah, I like the idea of helping people feel connected and reminding them that we are still connected. Because one of the things that we have now that would have been amazing if I'd had 10, 15 years ago when I first started being immobilized is technology, is the ability to actually contact people who are overseas. I got to talk to my sister yesterday, and she's in Colorado. And I know how she's doing, and I know how her family's doing, and we have real-time information. And that makes a lot of difference. Duly noted, Jess. We will have a dig through some of the medieval clothes and show you some of the hats and stuff that Owen has made.
Hoping to have the workshop sorted out so I can start sewing again.
Yeah. We have a collection of quite a few different sewing machines that we need to get up and running so we can actually start making stuff.
15th century clothing is my specialty. And by the way, Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, we have Sarah?
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for tuning in. Please go back and watch it. One of the reasons that I like recording these things is because if you can't, for some reason, tune in when it actually happens, you can go back and watch me ramble later. And I know I don't make sense, and I'm sorry that I don't make sense, but I'm trying as hard as I can to make sense, sad as that is. So if I don't, or if I say something that seems to make no sense, please ask me, because I might have been intending to say something completely different. Or if I say something that's offensive, or I say something that's insensitive, just let me know, because I probably completely missed it, and it stopped me from recording stuff before. But we now will probably hold off on this. Ooh, hang on, stuff from Jess. Love you too, Grace. Eggs. Ooh, that'd be gorgeous. Actually, oh, you know what we should dig out?
What are we looking at?
Sorry, Jess says I want to start sewing again over the break. Need to get a cloak cut out to get embroidered. 19th century trench coat. Hell yes. I can't remember where we were, but we picked up some gorgeous brocade that Alan was going to make
Is that
into
the cream one?
No, the red one, the red and black one.
Oh, that was in
Auckland?
Shop in Auckland from Blade
From
Master.
Fabrics.
What's the one from Blade
The
Master?
fabric store, yeah. Yeah, we got some amazing brocade that Alan was
Black
going
and
to
red.
All
Got
right,
some beautiful cream brocade as well.
this is what I tend to do. I've now said 6 times I'm going to stop broadcasting, and I still haven't stopped because my
So,
brain gets distracted and things. So we're
Chris?
actually going to stop.
if you manage to get a link set up for this, can you link it? I'm trying to figure out how to get it to people who want
Facebook it
it.
to you. I'll
Yeah,
give you
or
admin
WhatsApp it to
approval.
me.
I'll give you admin approval for Steelweb, and then
Yeah.
you can put the link on Steelweb. So the link for the Zoom chainmail space will be on Steelweb.
If that's okay with you, Chris.
Yes. Once Chris gets it sorted, which is going to be whenever that is, then we can try and set it up so that at least the link for access will be on Steelweb. I'm trying to set up my website. I've been working on it for a while now, but there's still bits and pieces that need to be done before I go live. But if we need somewhere else that we can kind of set up a semi-permanent Zoom space, so that if you feel like making chainmail or catching up with people, you can just go and kind of join in or go and watch what's happening, and then there's a way for you to contact people that feel like to talk about chainmail and sword fighting and medieval stuff and non-depressing and terrifying things. On that note, have you said that I'm going to leave like 6 times now? I've lost count. I'm actually going to leave, but we will make sure that there is.
I won! High five! Hannah's one of the few people who can actually fall over laughing, and if she was standing up, she'd be on the floor now.
Don't swear. Sorry.
Come on,
Sorry,
Grace.
Chris.
Grace, do
Sorry,
it, do it,
Chris.
do it, go.
Sorry, Chris.
Meh.
No, nothing there. Nothing there. I hate you all. I hate you all so much. I hate you all so much. If I laugh too hard,
Grace
my
says high
car-
five on it.
I hate you both. I hate you both so.
Okay, I'll do the actions for you and the sounds.
No. Please no. Please no. It's been funny up to this point. But if I go more into spasm, it's going to get unimpressive, and I'm going to kick the bloody laptop over, and that would be bad. Can you stop the live stream?
Okay.
Sorry, my core is locked up. Nobody make Hannah laugh. You suck. You all suck. Stop maying at me.
All right, guys. I'm going to stop the feed
I
now.
love you guys.
Chris,
See you
please send
soon,
us any
okay?
information for the Zoom thing, and I'll share it around to people that know we're
Thank
here.
you for the people that joined in today that haven't before.
Oh, he's setting up a live YouTube stream now. Should have URL shortly.
Awesome.
Okay.
We'll post it on the
Should I just
website.
keep going
No,
and you
Chuck,
can?
because we're going to have to set it up separately anyway.
Okay,
It's going to be a different stream.
I know, but he can put the URL up on this. Anyway,
You can
Chris,
comment on it
please share it.
and
Send it to me, and I'll share it around to people and put it up and stuff.
love you guys.
Love you all. Sorry, he was like almost done. So I was like, so I was thinking, do I just wait to